Feel like I should do something on Stephen Hawking's. I'm getting a lot of resistance from people online, acting like he was some brilliant man and everything he said was truth. It's absolutely hilarious. If you look at the actual history of Stephen Hawking's and look at what he was into, you start to see a completely different picture painted. I wonder if I raise him now, will he call me? Da-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna pretend like I'm going all in. Oh my god, he had 3 3s and I had 3 2s. Holy fuck. This is absolutely retarded. So yeah, I find it funny that people think that Stephen Hawking is actually, what he's saying is actually him. You know, he's only repeating the same shit that everybody else is being taught in these fucking compartmentalized fucking cults. Yeah. Very smart. Very outside the box thinking of you. I heard that Hawking's was poisoned. And when they poisoned him, it created this fucking degenerative thing that he got going on, which they call ALS, which if he had ALS, he should have died a long time ago, but he didn't. He lived apparently 13 times what you would normally live. You normally live around 4 to 8 years. He developed ALS in what? Late teens, early 20s, lived to be 76. Why? Because they were controlling him. I heard he was going through a lot of pain. Now, I don't believe what I'm told, but it makes more sense, you know? Especially given who he was before and the things that he talked about. And now for you to just look at him and, you know, be afraid to talk about someone because they died, like, it's absolutely hilarious. All the fucking flack that comes from it. People are like, my man, Stephen Hawking's like, did you know the dude? No, he's not your man. Like, shut the fuck up, man. You don't even know him. He don't care about you or anybody else. Seriously. It's fucking hilarious. And then they just makes fun of him in all kinds of cartoons and stuff. Oh, no, that's okay. You're allowed to make fun of him in a cartoon. But if you actually talk some real truth about him, shut up. We don't want to hear it. We only want to be entertained. Fucking egotistical motherfuckers. Yeah, well, you know, they say he was a pretty smart individual, so maybe he could have been. Hard to say. Apparently he was a big alcoholic, so I don't know how far he would have went, to be honest. They said he was a bright mind. So was my father, and he's a fucking alcoholic. Now he's home, prescribed perks, brews his own beer, and never leaves the house. He's got like a brand new car that he never drives. He gets his fucking wife to drive it. It's hilarious. That's what society is amounted to. The most brilliant man can't even move. Go to fuck. You're just trying to make it seem like everyone else is stupid. Which they're naive, yes, but they're not stupid. Just because people believe something doesn't mean they're an idiot. It just means that they were misled from the beginning. You know, it's called indoctrination. And those who get through the indoctrination and think that they're real smart and then they move up in a corporation, you're compartmentalized. Like my uncle thinks that he's a biologist for the government and he's doing all kinds of good. And then when you finally get some real hard facts and you push it to him, he goes, well, ignorance is bliss. Yeah, see? Waste of a life. Absolutely ridiculous. My father will not even get out of bed till like 11 or 12. And when he does get out of bed, there's no point in talking to him for an hour. And that's not me saying that. That's him saying it. He's like, there's no point in talking to me for at least an hour. He literally gets up and sits in the dark downstairs in the rec room. And just sits there. It's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to gather myself. It's like, what do you mean gather yourself? It's like, yeah, you're that fucking polluted And when you wake up in the morning, you can't do anything until at least the alcohol or the perks kick in. Now, it used to be the alcohol, and then that deteriorated his body because he was so fucking lazy. And, oh, you do a bit of woodworking. Good for you. You're still sat down fucking drunk every single day, busting your fingers up because you're drunk. And now look what happened. And then you'll just blame it on hereditary. Why? Who else has something going on? Fucking morons. People think that almost every ailment that they get is hereditary. That's not how it works. That's what you're told, so that you'll just think there's nothing you can do to prevent it. While they keep giving you all kinds of remedies and synthetics to help you get through your pain. That's the purpose. There's so many different levels of this shit. And the more I don't know, I wouldn't even call it communicating with people. I don't know what you call it. But the more I interact with people, there you go, it's the most basic form. The more I interact with people, the more I see that people are just so misled and they just don't think for themselves. And if they do, I don't know when they do it, to be honest. What, when you go to the grocery store and you pick up what you want to buy to eat? That's not the same thing. Those choices don't affect your life very much. If you choose between ketchup or dill pickle, still picking the same fucking bag of Lay's, genetically modified potato chips with all kinds of nasty shit in it. Oh yeah, the cognitive dissonance switch goes flick. Even when you explain cognitive dissonance to an intellectual who's having a cognitive dissonance moment, they still don't comprehend what you're saying. My father is a parent psychology. He went and got a psychology degree, and he deems, he knows all about psychology. And then when you start to talk to him about it, boom, up go the flag. Fucking the eyes gloss over. There's a politician I met with in Newfoundland, and I don't think he knew who I was at the time. His name is Danny Dumaresque, and he was talking about the hydro and all the stuff going off the power plant. And for me, I know that he's a politician, and now I see right through it all. You know, at the moment when I went to speak to Mr. Dumaresque, I was like, okay, maybe some of these guys are not too bad. But then once I met him, it was like, wow, you're not even a high politician. You're like a mid-level politician. And when I spoke to him, he came to my store, and I started talking about weather modification and telling him about all the proofs I have. His eyes glossed over. Like, no joke. They went from white to gray. It's crazy. It's like, do you go to these Silicon Valley type parties and then your brain just gets completely polluted? It just gets completely programmed with all this nonsense, all these triggers. So when everyone says anything that goes against what you think is the status quo, your brain just shut off and your eyes gloss over. Because that's what they're doing. It's like, I see people doing it all the time. And then once that happens, they just go into automation mode. You know, they're on autopilot. They're just acting. No more thought anymore. And you wonder why there's so many fucking accidents on the road. And I wonder what triggers there are. For all we know, the traffic lights are triggers. A horn could be a trigger. We don't know what any of these triggers are. All we know is that we're being hypnotized by these devices that we have and these people that are in these positions of supposed power. And we know that they're all hypnotists, or at least the higher ups are. So everything that you do has a hypnotic, trance away about it. That's why when you enter someone, it's called the entrance, because you're being entranced. Like coincidence and coincidence, exact same word. Entrance, entranced, same word. The moment you enter, you were entranced. It all goes back to, like the Gnostics and stuff, and putting symbols and things around your house, and it goes back to the vampires, how you have to, they can't just come in, they have to be welcomed in, There's fucking connections everywhere. It's one big fucking spider web. Nah, they think they are. It's hilarious. What are you waking up to? You're waking up, all you're doing is saying, Trump is bad. That's not fucking waking up. Waking up is realizing they're all psychopathic puppets for the corporations. Waking up is understanding that politics is Moloch's. Is all this obelisks. Obelisks is what I'm trying to say. Politics, Congress. Congress means a group of fucking owls, right? Or is Congress means sex? One of them means sex and one of them means owls. A congregation of owls. Polytic. One tick. They're all one. People aren't waking up. People are becoming... See, that's why Alex Jones was put out there. Sorry, Alex Jones alert. People don't like when I talk about him. But he is a good example to use when you're trying to explain something. And he is the type of person that they've been using to make people feel like they've woken up, you know? They can feel like, oh, they're this type of person. They're a, what do you call it, star child, or all these different things. They're just trying to separate everybody and make everybody different. Oh, you're a millennial. You know, oh, you're a vet. Oh, you're different. Everybody is different. No, we're all the same, but we're unique. You know, we're not different. We're unique. It's a completely different terminology. We all are humans. So we all need to start cooperating. All this segregation just gets us nowhere. You know, people thinking that they know the truth and then going out there and then talking to people, and then you realize, hey man, you're just saying the same shit that everyone else is saying. That ain't truth. You're just repeating regurgitated information. That's all you're doing. Oh, fuck yeah. 100%. There's a reason why these guys are where they're to and why there's symbols everywhere, because they work. You know, there's something to it. We need to be doing that ourselves. That's half the reason why they don't teach these type of things, because they don't want people to notice shit. Because if they did, then we would be able to manifest our own reality, and they would never be able to have this type of society around. It just wouldn't fly. The only reason that there is such a corrupt society around is because they collectively have us all manifesting this, because they have people believing that this is the way the world is. And they start from when you're a little tiny baby. First, they got your parents indoctrinated. If you're lucky, a 0.000 repeating till you maybe get to a 0.01 amount of people have actual intellectual parents who understand what's going on. Very few. I haven't met anybody whose parents... Actually, I met one person whose father was a straw man. He went to the court and he said, I don't want any of this. I don't want my social insurance number. I don't want any of this because this is not me. This is the only person I ever heard, and that's just in Newfoundland. So that's 500,000 people. So 1 out of 500,000 people. Right? Or sorry, parents. So you split that by, just say 4 for argument's sake. That's still over 125,000 people. 1 out of 125,000 people. Well, that's how they keep them in there, but what I think goes on is they either choose people that they know are up to no good, then they come to them and say, look, we see you're doing this, but we're not going to do anything to you because you're going to help us out. And they go, okay, now they're blackmailed. Or people who are rising up, they bring them to these parties, then they say, oh, then the people get to the parties and they're like, wow, there's a lot of weird shit going on. They're like, yep, and you're involved in it now because if you say anything, we'll fucking kill you. It's too late now. Or they'll just say, we're going to blackmail you and tell everyone about this place that you were to. And you're never going to dare tell anyone that we were here because you don't want to know that you were there. Right? It's a mind fuck. And then they say, oh, well, we'll discredit you if you leave here and then you'll never ever get a job nowhere else. And they believe it. I mean, could you think about it? You go to school and you go to school to get these big time jobs. And the only way to get these big time jobs is through these connections. So you're fucked. Oh my God, it's so blackmailed. That's how they run. That is how they run. And it's like when all that whole thing was coming out about Hillary and all the dirty stuff that she had on the go. That was just one big distraction. Are you kidding me? These guys do shit like this on a daily. You're only talking about one event. That's like talking about a boxer. That's like looking at Tyson, and then talking about him. He bit the ear off the dude, and then it being like he did more than that. That's only one event. Now he's not a bad person, so maybe it's a bad example. I really don't think that he's a bad person. I think that he's not a good person. Anybody who knows what's on the go and is involved in all these circles knows what's on the go. So deep down, no, we're probably not a good person. And I seen the way that he talks to females. No, I don't agree with that. He was like, I only talk to women when I'm fucking them or after sucking my dick or something like that is what he said. And it's like, really? That's who you are? Yeah, no wonder you made it. Like, no wonder you're in movies and shit like that. Come on. It's fucking hilarious. Anybody who is real, they off. Like Bruce Lee. Oh, he died because he was smoking hash. Go to fuck. Dude never died from smoking hash. He was taken out because he was going around teaching other people stuff that they didn't want to be taught. And then his brother dies on stage with a prop that wasn't supposed to be loaded, or a prop that was switched with a real gun. Like, come on, this shit is too easy. And then we watch all this cinema, and it's depicted in cinema how easy it is. Someone kills someone by accident, like in Jessica Jones, and goes through her head. Make it look like a suicide. So she makes it look like a suicide and no one says anything. It's absolutely ridiculous. So people like us, if we were to go and do something, what would they do? They just take us out and make it look like a suicide. And then they go to the masses and be like, oh, well, he was a conspiracy theorist. As if being a researcher is a bad thing. We're in an intellectual society that teaches you, that promotes intellectual capability and reading and writing and arithmetic and stuff like that, and searching for things and using dictionaries. But then all of a sudden, when you come at to them and you challenge their status quo, they're like, who the fuck, you're a conspiracy theorist? It's like, go fuck yourself. You were coming to me to fucking type out your essays in high school, and now what, my information is too good for you now because it goes against all the fucking bullshit you hear on TV. It's hilarious. Yeah, I know, right? Now, I tried, many different tactics. I've been trying not to use words, I'm trying not to put them down when I speak to them. I don't say moron, idiot, dumbass, none of this shit, you know what I mean? But it doesn't matter what you say to them. You could just say the most random shit and they still get upset, call you idiot, call you faggot, call you all this kind of shit. And it's like, wow, man. It's like, there's no real point in like trying to wake up people because they can't be woken. So then it makes me think maybe there are some soulless vessels going around. Or is that just a figure of speech? Like, are they actually just vessels that are occupied by other entities that is not designed? Like, it's not meant for that, like we know the human is just like an experience. So our energy is not human, right? So I don't think it matters. No, they don't look outside the box. They're too stuck in their fucking bubble. Like Bubble Boy. Just floating around in a bunch of fucking sea of naivety. It's fucking ridiculous. All they want to do is fucking, like, I think is what it is. They want things to be easy. They want everything just to be easy. Yeah, I know, right? Another thing I heard too, like, I'm not like someone who believes in anything, to be honest. I have a lot of things that I feel pretty sure on. But when it comes to the shape of the world, if, let's just say there's a dome, then could those noises that people are hearing, those like, kind of like, sounds like, that was a bad example. It just sounds like metal, some kind of metallic movement, something screeching. Could that be the dome opening? Could it be the dome moving? It was a good thought. I was like, never really thought about that before. I'm thinking it's just stuff that's underground as they're working underground, building their tunnels and shit. Or it's the ionosphere that's making this noise because they're fucking with it and they're sending all kinds of vibrations up there. So that could create a reverberation that would sound like that. Yeah. Kind of what I was thinking, but they can only drill so far. You can only go down like what, 9 or 10 miles was the most that we've ever gone down. It could be the drilling. I say it's either or, a little bit of both, or neither. Something in my eye. It could be none of them. Yeah, I know, right? Which I found funny that Eminem's movie was called 8 Mile, because he didn't grow up on 8 Mile. That could be the separation, but I heard he grew up like on some like fucking rich neighborhood in Detroit. He never grew up on 8 Mile. Now 8, we know, is the infinity symbol, and it also means success or failure. You can go either way. Itchy motherfucker. Time to blaze up some more weed. So yeah, if anybody out there fucking and those trolls or those sheep end up come over here. Exactly. Nice. Yep. Fucking right, man. Everything is backwards. Everything is mirror magic. That's how they run this fucking gig. That's why they're meeting all the time. You think these Bilderberg meetings, man, they got nothing to do with what really happens. They probably really don't do anything there. It's probably just a fake meeting. They send all these people there to make people think that this is where they're going and that these are the people in charge. These aren't the people in charge. Don't be so foolish. The real people in charge you barely even see if you've ever even seen them. You know? You might see who the boss is, but you don't know who the owner is. Or sorry, you might see who the supervisor is, but you don't know who the boss is. You know? The Queen, she's probably nutty. There's probably some other higher people that we never, ever, ever will see or hear about. You might not even be on this planet if you can get off planet. They probably left a long time ago. Oh yeah. That's all he raps about is pharmaceuticals and celebrities. I heard a thing about something that they say. Oh yeah, fucking right. I heard a thing that they say, it's called gravy. And apparently gravy means getting fucked up the ass and shit. And then the more you look at that, the more you hear it in different movies and stuff. They go, it's gravy. Especially like you get like a particular looking woman that'll say it. You know, and some of them women will talk to her and be like, you okay? Oh, it's gravy. It's like, what do you mean it's gravy? It means that's what it is. That's what's going on. And that's our fucking... Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. I'm going to try out for the So You Think You Can Dance rap contest. My boy in Newfoundland, he's the other half of DNA. So he's in it. And he just turned 19. So he goes April something. He's got 3 different sets he's got to do. He's got to do 15 minutes worth. So that's going to be really interesting to hear him, man. He's insane. If I could get to go to it, oh man, I'm telling you. I'm trying to figure out what to send them or if I should just do something. You know, like they're going to figure out that I'm a conspiracy rapper pretty quickly. All you have to do is Google me. Thanks, bro. As soon as I get this fucking poker thing figured out, I'm so close. I'm edging so close to literally perfecting my game. And then it's going to blow up, and then I'm going to get my own studio. Oh, then it's going to sound wicked. Then I'll be able to do fucking bar for bar. Because that's what they do. They don't fucking just spit it. They go bar for bar. Then they go, okay, that's good. Then you do another bar. Okay, that's good. They gave it all away in Compton. That movie Compton. Right? Dre was in the studio. He was doing the producing, and Eazy-E comes in. And he goes, all right, do a bar. Then he did a bar. He goes, hey, do another bar. Now do another bar. And then he puts them all together. That's not what I do. I just go fucking ham. Like it's Christmas time.
Yeah, true enough. I hear you there. See, the thing is, when it comes to poker, I have no other way to make money. Like zero. I got a criminal record. I got my license suspended, and I didn't know it was suspended until I got to a new province. And now I don't have the money to get it unsuspended. And my car needs a lot of repairs. So that with my criminal record, and I don't even have any PPE equipment. No work boots. If I had work boots, steel toe boots, I'd probably be able to get a job. Probably. But that's it. You know, like no one wants to hire a criminal. Not anymore. I'm not a criminal. I just got a record a long time ago. Like 12, 13 years ago. It's supposed to be cleared by now, and then the company goes out of business. I went through all the steps, gave them the $800, and they went out. Oh, no, man. That's okay. It's no worries. I mean, I appreciate that, to be honest. You know, that's cool. I appreciate that. It's just that it don't make me any money. It's never made me any money yet, you know. And at the point where I don't have any income, I got to do something. But playing online is ridiculous because everybody is doing the exact same thing. Whereas if you go to, you know, you play live in a club or something, you get people that are a little more loose, which is what you need so you can get paid off. But man, people online are so tight. I'm either getting like, I'm going up against another big hand, I got to get unlucky. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I fucked it all up. I had like 30 grand about 7 months ago. First time I ever had that much money in my life, and I moved up here, and I didn't get I bought the car from a dealership where they inspected it, and I didn't take it anywhere else to get it looked at. Now I brought it up here, and all these problems came from it. All these unexpected expenses, and the next thing you know, my money was drained. And then I started playing scared poker, and playing scared poker is no good. And then I realized there was a lot of things I didn't understand about poker. But now I do understand them, so now it's like, I'm gonna fucking crush this bitch. You know? Because as far as it comes with rap, like, besides my subscribers, no one even listens to my music. I can't even get my mom to listen to my music. Like, my parents, like, no one in my family will listen to it. They just don't care, you know? I stopped hanging out with all the old groups I did once I became like a big time activist, and so it's like I don't have that fan base behind me to really do anything with it, you know? It's like a carpenter, or it's like someone's like a master roofer with broken legs. Nice. I don't know if you're any good at reading people, but that's the best thing about playing live is you can tell if someone is good or not, if they got a good hand or not, you know, by the way that they move and the way that they do things. Just study them a little bit. Study the way they bet when they got certain hands and stuff, and make sure when you play against them that you're in position. You know, you want to be able to be last to act so you can at least see what they're up to, not be first. Unless you got a good hand, and it doesn't really matter. But when you don't got as good of a hand or you're a little unsure, you want to be in position and be aggressive in position. If that was my best advice, that's what I would give. I like giving advice. Yeah, no, totally. I used to play in a little house league. There was like 20 of us. Yeah, it used to create a lot of problems. Then we used to go back to another guy's house and we used to play a smaller game, and man, it was like 6-7-handed games, and it was, oh man, we used to play, was it 25 cents 50 or 50 cents a dollar, I think? And man, as soon as people would just start sucking out on people, they would just start getting all upset and sulky, and it just ruined the whole experience. It's no fun. No. I don't agree with taking money from friends and family and stuff. Like, you want to keep it in your circle, not take it away. You know, unless you're all just going to agree to do something with the money when you're finished or something, or I don't know. No one ever really sticks to the plan, it seems. It's half my problem. I thought I had a plan, and I used to, like, I stopped meditating and everything when I came up here, and then I had to get back into it. It's like I felt like because I had money that everything would just work out then. Yeah, it is. It's even more depressing when you're the person losing it, and you know you made a stupid mistake, and then you got to drive home for an hour. Oh man, talk about anger. Questioning everything in life, why everything is this way. Am I supposed to be, you know? And I don't like playing supposed to be's, because that means that you're depending on fate and that you don't have any control over your outcomes. I think that's counterproductive to act that way. I don't know what anyone else thinks of that. Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, lesson learned, right? I should have started evaluating things a long time ago when I still had fucking 10 grand in the bank. But that's all right. Lesson learned. Next time I got that type of money, I'm going to know what to do with it. Yeah, I know, right? That happens. Life is full of obstacles. That's why we have the Olympics. You know, people like to jump hurdles. Train all year to jump hurdles. It's like, motherfucker, I'm jumping hurdles all the time. That's all I do. Dude just hops in, goes sad, and then leaves. I don't know if that was a subscriber or not. That was hilarious. There he is. So sad. Is he so saddened about Hawkins? I'm not sure if he's a subscriber or not. I only recognize the, you know, the active subscribers that I have, like yourself. That's funny. That type of a title always brings around trolls. You know what I find really funny is people that idolize celebrities. I find that absolutely hilarious. You know? And if you say anything, even if it's just, you know, a bit of constructive criticism, it's like they don't even know what that word is. They freak. Oh, what you talking about my boy like that? It's like, man, you don't even know these people. You kidding me? They probably wouldn't give you the time of day if you asked them. Seriously, man. And you're going to idolize them. Why? Because they're doing something that you don't think you can do. Like, seriously, man. The moment that I heard people rapping and rhyming, I was like, man, that's really interesting. I like that. I'm going to do that. And then here you go. Here I am. With the rapid flow. Like fucking Bruce Lee. Snapping throats. Motherfuckers wish they was half as dope. They couldn't pick me off if they had a scope. They'd be like, that's just some shit that you wrote. It's like, no, man. I'm in control. I'm the captain of the boat. That's why I have the flow. You're still stuck on the dial-up like simpatico. Trying to bust one up here now. So what do you think about hacking? Yeah, man. I was in the beginning, man, and I was just talking about Hawking's. Like, that dude had ALS for like what? 2/3 of his life. Thanks, bro. Me too. Like, that dude fucking, he died at the age of 76. He got ALS. I was watching a video today that was like non-conspiratorial or anything like that. Oh man, 100%. Dude was a big alcoholic, sure. There was some missus that was interested in him and said that whenever she saw Hawkins at a party, she would only talk to him in the beginning of the party, because at the end of the party he'd be so wasted that he was not even worth talking to. Apparently he fucking fell down the stairs one time, completely fucked himself up, and then lost his memory, lost his short-term memory or something like that. Right? Apparently he didn't want to work and they just let him off it because they said he was a smart individual. And you know who was saying all this stuff? Nuns and priests. And this is the shit I'm talking about. This is how they do it, right? Okay, one, I'll give you the facts and then I'll tell you what they're doing. Stephen Hawking was a well-known atheist. So why the fuck would a priest or a nun be in a documentary about Stephen Hawking? That doesn't make any sense. He has nothing to do with them. They wouldn't know this dude. Seriously. Right? So that alone is the type of clues, like what we see with these crisis actors, right? We see, oh, we've seen that crisis actor before. Or, oh, look, we've seen them do that before. We know that they're faking. And this is how we know that it's all fake. Because they're fucking lying to you. They might use some things like, oh, he was an alcoholic and talk about that. Sure, that probably was true. And he probably didn't want to do some jobs and shit like that. Who the fuck else wants to work? Nobody. Most people that go to school don't want to work. They want to fucking teach. They want to fucking keep going to school and learn. No one wants to fucking have a job. They just want money. So they have freedom. No one wants to be a slave. That's absolutely ridiculous. Only some people that are so fucking indoctrinated that they believe that that's the way of everything want to do it. Exactly. People will say, oh, we had money. Go fuck yourself. There's lots of other people with money that still die with ALS. Sure, I just finished watching Jessica Jones. Mrs. is a fucking lawyer, owns her own firm. She's filthy rich, and she's worried about getting ALS because they said she had it, and she's going to die in 4 to 8 years. If Stephen Hawking lived that long with fucking ALS, then what the fuck is she worried about for? She's way richer than he is. Right? Like, come on, man. Like, people gotta fucking put the clues together. Like, when you get a puzzle, it's not put together for a reason. You want everything to be easy for you? Then it's going to be a bunch of laws. Because that's what you get. You ask someone for their opinion on something and it gives you boom to you right away. It's a bunch of laws. If they think about it for a minute and then tell you, there's probably some truth in it. Because they thought about it for a moment. Because we have these natural abilities in us where it's a survival mechanism, but it also carries into our conversations and stuff, because we're not using them anymore. We're not in danger when we're going out. Society is different. We're not in the jungle. We don't have to worry about someone trying to hurt us. Like, seriously, I haven't even had no one look at me wrong in a long time. Like, knock on wood. Like, seriously, that really don't happen. So these survival instincts are still in us, so they come out in different ways, and they come out in our conversations with people. Well, I dropped you. Like, I wonder how many people fucking feel bad about all the stuff they said after they said it, or if they question what they said or why they said it, or they just go on thinking that everything's cool. Right? Well, it's where apparently the muscles no longer get nutrition. So that's what it is. So the muscles apparently break down, specifically in the spinal cord area, which keeps you supported and works with your nervous system, and it's just the whole system just shuts down then. Apparently he was given a needle. Apparently he was poisoned. And this was the side effect of the poison, was what they're calling ALS. But I don't think it was ALS because he would have died. That's like saying someone has fucking... that fucking flesh-eating disease. And they don't get no cure for it. And they live forever with flesh-eating disease. That's impossible. Even John Chrétien fucking had to go get a piece taken off. It don't work like that, people. Like... it's either the same for everybody, or it's a lie. Like, one person, it doesn't work one way with one person and one way with the other person. We're all fucking the same type of vessel. There's no difference. Probably. The dude was a huge alcoholic, which makes you lazy. It's like my father. See, he drank a lot. And he did not eat very much at all. He's the type that would drink those inshore cans. You know what I'm talking about? And, it's all synthetics and shit. And then he would have something to eat when he got home. And he would only eat after he was piss loaded. After he got a really good glow on. And he would end up microwaving his food, like, twice to heat it back up. It's like, what the fuck, man? That's a soup. Like, you ain't eating real food when you. It's completely killed. It's all void of any nutrition or any, like, very little. You know, you're creating carcinogens. He ended up getting a tumor in his pituitary gland. So my dad had to get a part of his pituitary gland out. So his pineal gland is fucked. Yeah, very well could have. Lack of vitamin D, easily. That's half the reason that most people get what we get. Lack of vitamin C, lack of vitamin D, lack of, what's it called? It starts with an M? Does it start with an M? It's right on the tip of my tongue. I'm gonna scratch my tongue, see if it comes out. Like one of them scratch and sniffs. Remember those? Teachers used to use them a lot when I was going to school. Used to get them erasers, they smelled good too. Magnesium, thank you. Thank you. As you said it, I heard a click. I haven't heard the click in a while. Ooh. Caught you that time. It is the only way to learn is from experience. Yep. We are very deficient in many of these things, and apparently we're deficient in healthy salts too, because we need a good amount of salt in our body, a certain amount, to be able to hold on to the water that we have. You know, and another good point that was brought up, if Stephen Hawking was so fucking smart, then how come he didn't spend any of his time trying to cure ALS? Right? He didn't. He didn't even do anything. He didn't even talk about it. You think someone that would, you know, an intellectual like that would try to fix themselves? No, he never, not once. So what does that tell you? It's all a bunch of fucking hogwash if you ask me. Now, my next question is, who's going to be the next poster boy? Who's going to be the next Hawkins, you know? Who's going to replace him now? Is it going to be some now young kid now that's gets some now weird disease, and they're going to say now that people who get vaccines are the smart people now, right? It's going to be someone with like fucking, my brain's going now. It's going. Someone like with like fucking, oh my god, where's my brain going? Come back. Straight in the spine. People with like autism and shit. Watch now, that's gonna be the next genius. Like Eminem coming out saying that he's got fucking Asperger's. Come the fuck? You ain't got Asperger's, motherfucker. Kim Kardashian, yeah. That's just the lawyer for OJ's daughter. That's who that is. Got rich off of keeping that motherfucker out of jail. He was never going to jail. He's a fucking Mason, and the fucking courts are run by Masons. That whole country is run by Masons. Or at least controlled by them, you know. They're who we think is running everything. I know, right? Another thing I find is bullshit is this Mind site. People think this Mind site is going to be good. He was on CNN. The owner of that Mind site was on CNN. I'm done with it. I'm not going on that. Plus, they have these point system, and they tell you, oh, we'll help you convert it to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is cryptocurrency, which is George Orwell's wet dream. Enough said. That's two good reasons to stay the fuck away from that shit. They're always going to give you another solution. It's like Agenda 21, the sustainable development, fucking smart cities. Nothing fucking smart about it. They get these fucking conferences where they invite people in. And most of them don't know what's going on, but sometimes you get these places, you know, especially down in Ontario, in California, and in Shasta, and there's some smart people down there, and they're challenging them. You should see the videos on, type it in, man. They're doing a good job of challenging these fucking people. These fucking corrupt people. But what they do is they only give you a couple of options. And they make you feel like you're making the right decision, like you're actually choosing. You know? But you're not. You're just, it's like when you go in and you go to school and they give you a test, it's multiple choice. And you think that you got the fucking right answer, or you're smart because you chose the one they wanted you to choose. No, you're not. You're just fucking conditioned. Seriously, you're good at complying. You're a good obeyer. You got your hat on straight. You know, your shirt's tucked in, you got your tie on, without realizing that your tie means that's slavery. It means you're a slave owner. Yeah, heirloom seeds are a really good idea. We need to start doing that now. We need to like just go out and just like plant them everywhere. What? Message retracted. Who retracted your message? Can you retract your own message? I didn't think you could do that. I know there's this new, they updated the app and there's this new thing where you can make everything black. And we know that they're watching everything, but yeah, like we should just seriously, like we should just go around with these heirloom seeds and we should just be throwing them everywhere. You know, like fucking bird feed. Oh, and it let you do that? That's pretty cool. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could redact shit. I thought once you said it, it's out there in the, you know, the omnisphere. That's another thing. I think it should be called a multiverse, because a universe is what they want you to think. They want you to be a hive mind. So a hive mind will be one universe, one verse. But we are many people, so it should be called the multiverse. There's a multiple amount of verses. Each person has their own verse, which is their life, so it should be a multiverse. I think using words like this create like a hive mind mentality, you know, like for the greater good and all this crap. No fucking greater good. Like when they, like you see on TV and there's like, oh, there was this big experiment, a big explosion at this type of particle accelerator place. And then fucking, oh, well, we couldn't let them out because it was going to be an let them the fuck out, man. Are you kidding me? It ain't for no greater good. It's for the fucking people who own the place. Corporation owners. You don't want to slander your fucking, your credibility. Because you want to keep making the big dollars without realizing what's really going on. You want to live in this big lavish house and have houses everywhere while people are homeless. While people are fucking living paycheck to paycheck. Oh man, I heard something about the synthetic cannabis that they're making up here in Canada. And it's making people sick. Already, right before they make weed legal, they may manage to make some kind of mutant strain that's making people sick. Now it's the medical weed that's making people sick, but that's ridiculous. It's not supposed to make people sick. And apparently it doesn't even have what it has. It's claiming that it has higher THC values than what it does, and this guy I was watching on YouTube, he's been on since 2007, which is a long fucking time. I didn't think fucking people were on that long. That's 11 years. And he's from Ontario, Canada. Yeah, GMO weed. And this shit is making people sick. So I think they're doing it now to make weed look bad. This is their chance now, you know? Now that it's going to become legal, they're going to make all these people sick off all this GMO weed. So I don't think I'm going to buy any weed from any of these stores. I'm just going to keep doing it the way I do it now. There's no reason to fuck up that relationship. It works fine. I don't need to get a fucking green card so they can pull me over and be like, you got a green card? Yeah. Oh, well, that means you're smoking weed. We're going to test you. I don't need none of that hassle. Everything is fine the way it is. I don't need them pulling us over for more reasons. It's bad enough that the police are going around fucking trying to nab you for everything. Like, a ticket costs so much. When you get a ticket for driving, say you roll a stop sign. Oh my Lord. Say you're speeding. If you get a speeding ticket in Canada, see, in Ontario it's written on the signs. If you go 30 over, it's like $300, and then the next one is like double that. I got 2 speeding tickets in Newfoundland, and they ended up being $700 in total. That's $700. Who the fuck has that much money? That's absolutely ridiculous. Most people don't have $7 at the end of their paycheck to themselves. Extra money after they buy groceries and pay all these fucking fees and shit. You know, you get 21% of your paycheck coming off. That 21% is that we want to use it for their own fucking corrupt needs. As you notice, the fucking streets and everything are going to shit. Why? Because they want people off the road so they can get people on buses and in these compactable vehicles. It is. I have not done my income tax, no joke, in maybe 9 years since I've done income tax. I haven't got anything back, ever. Well, not in those 9 years. And before that, a couple of times. You know, I went to work in Alberta once and I got back like $1,600. But how much did I pay in? How much did I lose? Way more than that. I was making 18 something an hour, then I went up to 21, and then I was getting time and a half after 40 hours, and I was working sometimes 115-hour weeks, and they were taking like 30% of our check. Sure, I lost like $1,600 in a month, let alone the 8 months I was working there. So it's a pile of shit. Income tax was something that they brought in when they fucking tanked all the banks and all the major fucking business owners by fucking inflating the shit out of everything and creating scarcity that it wasn't there. And there was all kinds of independent communities like Newfoundland. Newfoundland wasn't even part of Canada. They were their own independent thing. They were still a part of Britain like everyone else's, but they were still very independent on their own. And then, boom, in the 30s, they fucked us. And then they had the war right after. And then now, you know, they were supposed to get rid of income tax. They never did. They kept it the whole time. They're stealing from us at every fucking corner. You buy a car and then you go to sell it, and then the person who buys it off you, it gets taxed again. And then you sell it to someone sells it to someone else, it gets taxed again. So they're taxing a product that's already been taxed before. You're taxing on tax. Like, soon they're just going to be back to the days where they used to go around and they used to just pillage all the villages for tax money. And people act like there's a big difference between back in the day when they used to do it and now. There's not. It's just their methods are different. That's the only difference. They're stealing your fucking money. You're working hard for money and they're taking it from you. Yeah, right? And then, yeah, the GMO seeds, you gotta buy them every year. How the fuck is that smart? Who the fuck are these people that think they're intelligent? Like, they must be people that, they must be farmers that were sons of farmers, and then they took over the business for their father, so they only got a fucking clue because they were only taught how to farm. And then someone else comes in, and their father obviously didn't teach them very much besides how to farm, didn't actually sit down and talk to them and tell them the difference between good seeds, because maybe they didn't know, or maybe they were just poor parents. There's lots of those going around. I'm a product of it. Fucking neglected since the moment I came out the womb. Fucking sweep me away with a broom. Came out the fucking womb like Zoom. Fucking bullshit. I grew up with a fucking elephant in the room. That's some Dr. Seuss shit. It's fucked. I wonder how many channels are going to get shut down now when they start talking about Stephen Hawking. Yeah, right? There's so many reasons not to choose genetically modified seeds, and people are just like totally oblivious. It's like, and then they look at, just for me, for example, it's good to use yourself as an example. People look at me and they say, oh, well, you did things and you didn't succeed in them, so you're either no good or that you're not supposed to do that. But yet you got farmers who you depend on, and many people depend on to eat, you know, for a living, to survive, to grow, and they're making stupid decisions like this, and you still think that they're fucking competent or intellectual? You'll still take their fucking word on shit, man? Like, wow. You'll buy food from them? Like, no. Man, once I learned about this shit and I started calling all the different farms that were in my area, wow, only one farmer was willing to listen and wanted some information on it. He said, yeah, send me that information. I'd really like to look at that. Everyone else either used GMO seeds or used Monsanto glyphosate, and didn't care. One of them actually took Tim Hortons grounds, Lester's Farms in Newfoundland. They get the coffee grinds from Tim Hortons that just get thrown in a bucket and put out back. They get those and they fertilize all their fucking their fields with it. Could you imagine? Like, I stopped drinking coffee because of how it made me feel. And it's actually a diuretic. It's poisonous. If you were just to eat the coffee bean itself, it's poisonous. It would make you sick. And they're using this to cover their farms, and people think that that's healthy. It's like, wow, you guys are fucking morons. And the sad part is, I met with Mr. Lester, and I went to him for a job and stuff, and I spoke to him and stuff, and I had at the time, I never had my Raynaud's, which is a poor circulation issue. I never had it under control. So I said, this is probably not the great job for me. But we were talking for a while about different stuff, and he seemed to have a pretty open mind about things. So it's not like these people don't know what's going on. They have an internet. They have people around them that I'm sure talk to them about stuff. There's always one person. There's always that black sheep in the family. Who knows? So it's not like they're not fucking privy to this information. So claiming ignorance is not an excuse anymore. It's not a viable reason. That's exactly what it is. Just an excuse. It's a shut you up word is what it is. It's shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. I'm going about my business and I'm making money. You got a problem with it? Well, then you're trying to fuck with my family and my business. And then they go all savage. It's like, wow, no, man, I'm just saying maybe, what you're doing, like your actions affect us because you have more influence. So maybe, as being the place where it's trickling down to, we're where it's being trickled on, right? We're at the bottom of the fucking waterfall where it's all falling on us. So we're letting them know, hey, man, we're getting sprayed here. What the fuck is this shit you're spraying with us? And they got a problem with us. Are you fucking kidding me? Right now, man, we could cut off everything that they got. They wouldn't have anything if we stopped working, we stopped paying taxes. Done. Why do you think they build them out of fucking brick? So you can't burn them down. That's what we used to do. We used to go there with pitchforks and shit, just like it was Frankenstein, and we used to take it to them. Whatever you wanted to call them back then. Whether they were politicians or elites. They went straight to the elites. They knew where the fucking Rothschilds lived back then. They knew where the royal family was. There was only a couple of guards outside. They weren't going to stand up against thousands of people with pitchforks and knives and fucking sticks and fucking bats with barbed wire and nails in it and shit. Boards with nails in it. They ain't going to stand up to that. They fucking bowed down, and those guys ran away. Went down into their underground burrows. Then they went away hiding, and then they fucking infiltrated other places because they bribed them because they still got lots of gold. Because back then, they actually had really good currency. Whereas now, now we got them. Because they're using a fiat currency. So we'll just say we don't accept this fiat currency anymore. So they can't fucking buy us off with this fiat currency. They've actually put themselves into a hole. Because what they're doing is they're generation after generation trying to take over. But you know what happens when your predecessor takes over your business? They fuck it up. They always fuck it up. You look at these kids that are coming up now that are taking over their family businesses. They're either selling them off to other corporations, or they're tanking them, or they're completely revamping what that fucking business or corporation, what the motto was. They're no longer doing that anymore. The NTV, huge news corporation in Newfoundland, probably the biggest. The guy, Jesse Sterling, he had David Icke on. And David Icke was in Newfoundland for like a week, and they were talking about fucking Credo Mutwa and reptilians and all kinds of shit like this. And this was when Jesse Sterling was alive. Jesse Sterling dies, his son takes over, the whole thing gets revamped. I got pictures of it. You go down to the fucking building and you can see they got the Newfoundland, they got the Newfoundland itself, the province of Newfoundland, inside of a triangle, with the tip filled in with white. You tell me that's not a fucking Illuminati pyramid. Of course it is. It's just blatantly obvious right in your face. And when did that get put on? Probably after Mr. Sterling died. You know? The clues are there. You just got to put them together. I'm going to have to end this. This fucking... My phone is... I don't even know how much life it's got left. It's been blinking. I'm rotating her. This was very interesting. I enjoyed this. This is very... what's the word? Almost had it. My words aren't going good today. Maybe that's why I didn't do so well in poker. Haven't been smoking good weed. I've been smoking fucking roaches and stock crystal. Oh, it's not the same. I need to get off all of it altogether. Clear-headed. That's where I operate best. But I'm trying to separate from the matrix, you know, and I stopped smoking weed for a week, but what was that? Almost a month. Man, I turned into a prick. I started resorting back into the old matrix style of shit, man. Like, it's true. Cannabis does separate you from the matrix. It does help you think outside the box, man. It does improve your life. You just need to do it in moderation. Everything needs to be done in moderation. It's key. So, with that said, I enjoyed this chat. If anyone thinks that Stephen Hawking was the smartest man alive, or that even like Elon Musk is the next Tesla, then maybe you need to revamp. You need to reanalyze, you know. Because you're leading yourself and everyone who follows you down a real dark path without a flashlight. It's windy and all you got is a little candle and a couple of matches. Alright, cheers.